Well, hello and welcome to Thursday. And glad you're here. Glad you're alive. Glad you could share this moment with me. And take a moment, come on in, join me in my little world for a moment. If you remember the 1950s and 60s, and really you can go back beyond that to pre television days, but if you watch television or listen to the radio during those days, you may remember a show started by Major Bowes. It was Major Bowes Amateur Hour. It was on radio, where amateur people would come on and compete, much like the more modern programs we see today, where people compete to sing or to perform in one way or another. Um, anyway, but I remember the television program in the 1960s in particular with Ted Mack in the original Amateur Hour. It was always kind of fun to watch and see the people as they would get on and compete to sing a song or do whatever it was that they were going to do in some sort of entertainment thing. But I want to tell you very quickly about one young man. I couldn't tell you his name, but for some reason it stuck out. I think because he was close enough to my age, maybe just slightly older. I think he was about 11 years old, and it was in the early 1960s. And he came on to the show, and his turn came up, and Ted Mack brought him out, introduced him, and he sang his song. I listened to him sing as we sat there in front of the television. I listened to him sing, and I was impressed with the power of his voice. I was impressed that this young fellow about my age could go on television and sing a song like that. It really got my attention. He sang the song, "What Kind of Fool Am I?" It's a love song. I remember when he was done and I was saying, man, that guy could really sing. My dad said, I don't think that was really the song for a young boy like him. He just thought he really shouldn't be singing a song that he really couldn't comprehend and understand fully. But I guess I thought about maybe that all of us in one way or another follow the line of that song. What kind of fool am I? And maybe in our lives, we just have to stop and contemplate what kind of fool we're going to be. We make ourselves fools out for a lot of causes, maybe for people. A young man in love will do just about anything to get the attention of that young girl that he loves. Foolish behavior, expenditures that are beyond his reach, or whatever it might be. A fool for love. Huh. Maybe you know exactly how that feels. Or we become foolish for jobs or a lot of other things. Seen a few football games where people stand in freezing temperatures with boys with their shirts off and their bodies painted with letters on them, and I'm thinking, looks pretty foolish to me. And I know we don't want to use the term too harshly because people get excited and they do what they want to do. But I'm thinking about one thing in particular. As Paul writes to the church in Corinth, he writes a lot about their behavior in 1 Corinthians, the first letter to the Corinthians. He writes a lot about their behavior, and sometimes you read it and you think, well, this is just not too bright. And basically, Paul comes down to the point and says, if we're going to put ourselves out there in what might appear to the world to be foolish behavior, and as he speaks about himself and his compatriots, in verse 10 of 1 Corinthians 4, he said, we are fools for Christ's sake. We are weak. We are dishonored. Now, he gives the contrast to that, and he's writing in particular. But what he's saying is we may appear to be, to many, losers. We may appear to be foolish. We may appear to be throwing things away. He said, but the cause is worth it. Ask the young man who gets the attention of the young lady. Was it worth it? He doesn't even have to answer. You can tell. We are fools for Christ's sake. Before you put yourself out there for anything, measure its value. Think what it's worth. And when you're going to look foolish outside of the norm to the people around you or to the society at large, let it be for the cause that is most worthwhile. And follow with the thinking of Paul. We're going to be fools. Let's be fools for Christ's sake. Pretty good advice, don't you think? So look at the day and consider what you're going to do. And in the day, if you're going to do something foolish, at least in the eyes of the world, you know what I'm going to say. Be a fool for Christ's sake. I kind of think it's a good idea, don't you? All right, then. It's a good Thursday. Hope it's one you enjoy. Have a great day today. If it's the temperatures and all are where you are like they are where I am, they probably are. Enjoy your day. It's a good one. See you soon.